Today's news. Inula Fatulaev's 1 AZN lawsuit rejected. 2010 election most fraudulent in history, claim opposition leaders. Government rigs election in favor of YAP candidate, claims opposition candidate. Civil society prepares for Eastern Partnership Berlin Forum.
Today, the Sabel District Court dismissed the lawsuit filed by imprisoned journalist Inula Fatulaev against the Baku City Prosecutor's Office. After the hearing, the journalist's lawyer, Elkin Sadegov, told Objective TV that Fatulaev would be appealing this decision. On February 2nd of this year, the Baku City Prosecutor's Office publicly accused Fatulaev of drug use. He opened a lawsuit demanding that they apologize for the public nature of this accusation and for the potential damage to his reputation. Fatulaev also requested that the judge fine the Baku City Prosecutor's Office a symbolic 1 AZN, €1, for the violation of his rights. In 2007, Fatulaev, editor-in-chief of Realny Azerbaijan and Gundelik Azerbaijan newspapers, was sentenced to 8.5 years in jail for threatening terrorism, along with other charges. He was then sentenced to an additional 2.5 years in prison by the Garadag District Court in July, under a separate charge for drug possession. The journalist appealed against this. Last month, the European Court of Human Rights issued a final and absolute ruling for his innocence and has demanded his immediate release. The Azerbaijani government has refused to comply. Leaders of the opposition APFP Musavat coalition party Ali Karimli and Isa Gambar held a press conference today. Karimli and Gambar claim that the 2010 parliamentary elections have been Azerbaijan's most fraudulent yet. They said today that in this year's pre-election period, freedoms of press, expression and assembly have been subject to much more severe restrictions than during previous elections. They remarked that candidates have had very minimal opportunity to meet with voters. They said that their only opportunity to address any significant number of citizens was the 4-minute slot of free radio airtime allocated to each candidate. Before these broadcasts, voters were barely aware that the elections were happening. Thanks to the 4-minute slots, we were able to increase awareness, and the way that we made use of this airtime has proved that the opposition remains strong and is continuing to fight. The leaders suggest that the main competition is between the ruling party and the APFP Musavat coalition. They noted that the ruling party has used state administrative resources for its own benefit, in violation of electoral legislation. The elections will take place on November 7th. Candidate Arif Hajili said that the APFP Musavat coalition will publicise its preliminary forecast of results on the 8th. On the 9th, the party will ask the Baku City Executive Office if they can hold a mass meeting with voters. In the press conference held today in the IRFS Press Centre, Classic Popular Front Party parliamentary candidate Oktay Gulaliv spoke about the continued electoral violations in the Katay 2nd election constituency number 36. According to him, this constituency will rig the elections in favour of YAP ruling party candidate Samad Saidov. The employees of the Housing Management Office have been instructed to drop a predetermined number of ballot papers into ballot boxes. According to these instructions, Saidov should gain 70% of the votes, said Gulaliv. He also said that he has not been allowed to meet with voters, while his rival has already held 2 public meetings. Moreover, my posters and campaign materials are routinely vandalized, while Saidov's remain untouched. The district's executive officers are clearly endorsing the YAP candidate. State-run agencies took their employees to Saidov's rally. Only in Azerbaijan do the voters go to meet the candidate rather than the candidates going to the voters, said Gulaliv. He also revealed that the Election Commission has promised him that he can meet with voters as long as he doesn't criticise Saidov during his free TV airtime. There will no doubt be serious voting violations at the women's prison and at the military unit located in this constituency. I am going to ask international organisations to send observers to those places, because the Azeri independent observers will not be allowed in there. The 2010 summit of the EU Eastern Partnership Civil Society Forum will be held in Berlin on November 18th and 19th. 23 organisations have been invited to attend the event. The Forum's Azerbaijani chapter met today to discuss preparations for the summit. The Forum will base its actions on the basic principles set out within the framework of the Eastern Partnership. These are democracy, good management, stability, economic and EU policy integration, environment, climate change and energy security, and civic communication, said the Forum's Azerbaijan coordinator Avaz Hasanov. The national chapter has advisory status and meets at least twice a year. Any organisation that operates on these principles can apply for membership. Each year, 40% of memberships are renewed. Organisations can be accepted for a maximum of 3 annual memberships, he added. The EU Eastern Partnership Civil Society Forum was founded in Brussels 2 years ago.